following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Yo, Philly, how you's doing? Welcome to Philadelphia Baseball, past, present, and personal. I'm Bill Kashatus, your host on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Stanley Doc Glenn was a man who spoke softly but carried a big stick, a baseball bat, to be precise. He was a catcher for the old Philadelphia Stars of the Negro Leagues. I first met Glenn in 1997 when he was speaking about the history of Negro League Baseball to students at the William Penn Charter School, where I taught at the time. Fascinated by his reminiscences, I asked if I could interview him for a book I was writing. He agreed, and over the next 6 years, he became a personal inspiration to me. Glenn, who died in April of 2011 at the age of 84, had reason to be a bitter man. Until 1947, when Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier, African Americans were forced to establish their own teams and leagues to play the game they loved. Glenn was a catcher and the captain of the baseball team at John Bartram High School in southwest Philadelphia. Known then as Slamming Stanley, he led Bartram to 2 city championships and captured the attention of the New York Yankees with his offensive and defensive prowess. But when the Bronx Bombers discovered Glenn was black, their interest vanished. Denied a career in the major leagues, Stanley joined the Philadelphia Stars of the Negro National League immediately after his graduation in 1944 at the age of 17. With the exception of a brief stint in the Army Medical Corps, Glenn spent the next several years in the Negro Leagues. He endured flea-bag hotels, ramshackle buses, subpar fields, and segregated facilities. He and other players were routinely stopped by police for no reason and subjected to racial slurs, not only in the South, but also in the rural North. And he was paid just $175 a month. Remarkably, Glenn chose to dismiss the racism as, quote, pure ignorance, and to focus on the joy of playing with and against some of the greatest ball players in history. Nicknamed Doc because of his background as an Army medical tech, Glenn was schooled by some future Hall of Famers, including Stars manager Oscar Charleston. In one of his first starts, he recalled Josh Gibson of the Homestead Grays purposely spiked him while sliding into home plate and then warned him to learn the sweep tag, or else, quote, next time you'll really get hurt, end of quote. Glenn said he became a smarter player for the advice. The biggest thrill of Doc's career came in 1949 when he caught Satchel Paige, another Hall of Famer, who briefly pitched for the Stars. As hard as he threw, the ball was like a feather, said Doc. It moved all over the place, so you really had to know how to catch. The Stars games were attended by growing numbers of white fans. On Monday nights, when major leaguers were traveling between cities, the Stars played at Shibe Park, where they could draw close to 30,000 spectators. Average attendance at their home field at 44th and Parkside was 25,000. Often there were more whites than blacks in the stands, too. The Phillies, by comparison, struggled to attract 10,000 fans for a doubleheader. Integration, Doc was fond of saying, was a matter of dollars and cents. Major league owners realized that white fans would pay to see black ball players, and greed overcame prejudice. In December 1998, I did the first of many interviews with Stanley Glenn. What follows is an audio of that initial interview. In it, Doc discusses the Negro Leagues, the Philadelphia Stars, and the integration of Major League Baseball. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I did the interview itself.
First question, what inspired you to become a baseball player? Well, my family, my father, my brother, and then and we still love jazz music. And for 6 months of the year, there was Negro Major League Baseball. And I can't think of anything else that I would have done that would have given me as much joy as baseball has. To play throughout America and, of course, the Latin countries in the wintertime. And I was in the league 1 full year before Jackie Robinson came to the Kansas City. My first year to them was 1944, not 43. And Jackie came in 1945. And most people don't know it, but he actually could not make the starting lineup of the Kansas City Royals. It's a fact. They had infielders. Herb Sewell was the third baseman. Jesse Williams was the shortstop. And a fellow named Barney Sorrell, who just died this past summer, was the second baseman, and Buck O'Neill was the first baseman. And there was simply no place for Jackie to play. They were just too good. Barney Sorrell later went to Mexico in the summer of 1945, and then Jackie started to play. And that's how I first met Jackie.
Wow. I want to get much more into that in a second, but I want to get back to, you said your father and your brother were really the reasons you played baseball. They grew up with baseball. They cultivated your interest.
Right.
Okay. Were you born and raised in Philadelphia?
No, I was born in a little town in Eastern Shore, Virginia, by the name of Wachapreague.
How do you spell that?
Wachapreague. Now, Wachapreague is near Chincoteague. And of course, you know where Chincoteague is because of the ponies.
Right.
And of course, it's north of Cape Charles, where the new bridge and tunnel begins. The family moved from Virginia when I was probably 6. So from the second grade through, I went to school in Philadelphia.
What part of Philadelphia?
Southwest Philadelphia. John Bartram High School was the high school I graduated from. Okay. And they had quite a historic place over there. And last June, I was taken into their Wall of Fame. Had a lot of fun. The first time I've been to the school for 50 years. And they're still going on.
Now, you played ball at John Bartram, and then after your senior year, you went right into, before my senior year,
1944, I graduated. At that time, you had 2 graduations a year. You had A and B. So you would have 9A, like, and 9B before you would go to the You don't remember that? No, you're too young to remember that. But anyway, I graduated in January 1945, which was really the 1944 season. But the year was split up halves. And 1944, the summer of 44, after the baseball season in high school in June, the end of June, I went with the Philadelphia Stars. 17 years old and thought I was the king.
how did that work? Were you scouted? Was
Homer Curry was the manager, and Oscar Charleston was the coach.
Oh, man.
And they watched me play 11 high school games. And they decided that I had some potential. And the last week in June of 1944, I joined the Philadelphia Stars and stayed through 1950.
Now, you were a catcher even in high school? Mm-hmm. So that was your position all the way through?
Yeah, played other positions sometimes when there was a necessity. But I was a catcher. Never wanted to be anything else but a catcher.
Why? How did you start with that?
Well, my brother was a catcher. And I had always watched Major League Baseball, not knowing when I was young that because I was black, I wasn't going to be playing Major League Baseball. But Dickie, Cochran, and Danning, I always watched those catchers, great catchers play, and I just wanted to be a catcher. And then, of course, when I got big enough to go to the ballpark by myself, I watched Biz Mackey.
Oh, yeah.
And Gibson. And then Campanella. Of course, Bill Cash and I were catchers on the same team. And we're still friends. But that's all I wanted to be. I wanted to be a catcher. They had a fellow out in Memphis that I liked to use. Name was Brown. Couldn't hit the side of a wall. As you could catch. Yeah, and I just like to catch.
You mentioned a mentorship among those catchers. I mean, Mackey was really the mentor to Roy Campanella.
Yes.
I mean, there's some exceptional people there. Tell me about the Philadelphia Stars of the 1940s. Who were the key performers? Where did you play? Did you ever play the Phillies or the A's?
We played at 44th and Parkside. And on Monday nights, we played in Old Shy Park. And it's very interesting to tell you that the Philadelphia Athletics or the Philadelphia Phillies would draw 10 to 15,000 people for a doubleheader on Sunday.
Yeah.
And on a Monday night, we would draw from 25 to 30,000 people in Shy Park.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Let us not, for one moment, think that economics didn't have its place in Jackie going into baseball.
Right.
In the Yankee Stadium in New York and the Polo Grounds in Washington, D.C., Old Griffith Stadium, and in Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, in Kaminsky Park in Chicago, and the minor league ballpark at that time was Kansas City. They were AAA. We were outdrawing the major leaguers in the AAA, so they saw it. It was nothing on a Sunday to go to New York at Yankee Stadium, and we had 50,000 people that were watching. Well, Grant Rickey and all those other people, even though they had decreed years before that time that they weren't going to hire any blacks, dollar still counts.
But see, that's a key issue right there. The whole purpose for integrating the major leagues, at least some of the writers, Chadwick for one, Peterson for another, say that the major league owners saw a drawing card with black baseball fans. But here's what I don't quite understand, that the Negro League owners were also, because of faltering economic circumstances, really promoting integration in the major leagues. They ended up selling. I guess maybe the answer to the issue is they were selling off some of their top players.
Right.
But didn't they understand that this was going to spell the demise of...
Well, just one was going to spell the end. Because why would you go to see Negro League Baseball playing in inferior parks, only in major league parks when the other teams were on the road? And in Philadelphia, where you had two major league teams, the Philadelphia Athletics and the Philadelphia Phillies, Mondays was always a traveling day or a day off.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's how we got to play at Shy Park on Monday nights. Now, Eddie Gottlieb, the former owner of the Philadelphia Warriors and the Spas and whatnot, he was the big booking agent.
Okay.
And he was responsible for getting us into major league ballparks all over America.
Wow.
I don't think there's any major except Wrigley Field, Chicago. I never played at Wrigley Field, Chicago, but in Comiskey Field.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Did you ever play the Phillies or the Athletics?
No.
Why?
I don't know. There were always all-star teams when the season was over and the World Series was over. Satchel Paige had an all-star team and Bob Feller had an all-star team, and they would play each other all over the East, the West, and all the way out to California. But you were not going to play a major league team intact. They simply would not allow that. I mean, if you go in and you beat the top guys, what's the newspapers going to say the next day? That was not going to happen. At that time, there were 16 major league owners, and the commissioner of baseball was Kennesaw Landis from Georgia. Probably as big a racist as anyone in this world. And it was his decree with those 16 owners that they were not going to hire black ball players.
The quote-unquote gentleman's agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, the Philadelphia Phillies were having such a hard time drawing people. If they drew 500,000 people, it was a successful year, which is nothing. They were talking about taking all the black stars and forming a team with them and put them in the National League or the American League. Well, now you knew that wasn't going to happen. And of course it didn't happen. And every now and then Bill Connell, that writes for the Daily News, he will write something about that every now and then. But we knew that wasn't going to happen. But as much as I love Branch Rickey and the Rickey family, the Dodger organization, it was not done simply because they were giving a black guy a chance to play baseball. It was purely economic.
You've gone down my list and anticipated at least 3 more of my questions right here.
That's okay.
And I hate to keep on bringing you back, but there's so many things you're mentioning here. You said inferior playing conditions that you experienced in Negro League in terms of travel, in terms of lodging, accommodations at other ballparks. Can you describe some of those conditions to me?
Well, we'd go south to a train, and there were no black hotels. Most of the time we stayed in private family homes. And of course we thought it was great when we could eat meals with at those homes that we stayed in. We couldn't go to restaurants. And the restaurants that blacks owned in the South were inferior. We traveled by bus. Can I tell you that we played a doubleheader in Comiskey Park in Chicago on Sunday and drove the bus to Philadelphia and played the Twilight Night doubleheader in Philadelphia that Monday night?
Oh, my God.
Well, this is the kind of things that we did. We got on the bus in Chicago 6 o'clock in the evening, and we got here in Philadelphia about 3 o'clock the next day. And we changed clothes and went out to Shire Park and played a doubleheader here that Monday night.
You have guys today complaining and threatening strike if they play the day game after a night game.
Now I see catchers, if they catch a game on Sunday or on a Saturday night, and they don't play Sunday. I mean, I can remember playing 3 ball games in one day. 3. The 30th of May, Memorial Day in Philadelphia, we would play out at Williamsburg and Parkside, and get in the bus after that and go to Baltimore, play a night game in Baltimore. Or we would be in New York, Yankee Stadium or the Polo Grounds, and somewhere out in Long Island, they'd have they'd schedule a game for Sunday night. That was a normal. 3 games in one day.
It's nothing. It's unreal. You had to sleep well somewhere, didn't you?
We slept on the bus. You slept while riding. Yeah.
Now, you played, I guess, on those Mondays in major league ballparks.
Mm-hmm.
What were the ballparks like where you played the other 6 days of the week?
Well, 44th and Parkside, as I said. Now, the Newark Eagles, they played all of their games at Rupert Stadium in Newark, New Jersey.
Any of the stadiums still standing?
I think they just tore down Rupert Stadium, which was the Yankee top AAA ballpark. And the Giants, of course, had Jersey City.
Mm-hmm.
And they were rivals in the same international league.
Right. So Jackie Robinson broke it.
Mm-hmm. But we would play anywhere, any town, anytime. Lighting was always bad. There were no accommodations. Very few places that you went that you were going to stay in that town that night. You were going to either go back to Philadelphia or up to New York or Newark to get a hotel room. Then, of course, even in Philadelphia, you had to stay in the black hotels. You weren't going to get accommodated in the white hotels downtown. And this is the middle 40s now. This is just before the war was over, World War II. It was very, very difficult. We left Memphis, Tennessee, to go to Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is probably 100 miles or a little bit over, to play a game. And the policeman met us when we entered the town. And he said, "You boys will have to get this game over early because we don't allow black men on the street here past 10 o'clock at night." So we had to dress in the bus and then drive from Clarksdale, Mississippi, back to Memphis, where we were staying, to get a shower full of uniform. I mean, this happened all the time.
Did you ever have anything like that in Philadelphia?
Well, no, not that bad, because there were some black hotels in South Philadelphia and in West Philadelphia that the teams who came in to play us stayed. Mm-hmm. So I had no, and of course I lived in Philadelphia, so when we were home, I stayed at home. Mm-hmm. But I've heard all kinds of reports by Buck O'Neill, who says we stayed in the best hotels and we ate in the best restaurants and it wasn't so bad. Well, he's just lying. That's not the truth. I stayed in the same hotels that he stayed in. Mm-hmm. And certainly, what was the name of the hotel in New York? Certainly wasn't the Waldorf Astoria. 125th Street. Oh, no. That was the Teresa Hotel. 145th Street and 7th Avenue. Was the Woodside Hotel. Mm-hmm. Now, he stayed at a Woodside Hotel, and the same key opened every door there. Mm-hmm. And if he's going to tell me that was the best hotels and the best restaurants and all that stuff, I don't want to hear.
Why do you say something like that?
Because he's just he's talking. It reminds me of the HBO film Soul of the Game. Yeah. We had a private showing in Philadelphia, the 7 Philadelphia Stars, who still living around the area. And after 10 minutes, I got up and walked out.
Okay.
There was nothing in there that was truthful. And of course, I'm sure they got an awful lot of mail telling them what a farce they had made of it. Like they had Jackie Robinson and Josh Gibson fighting one another. They probably didn't even know each other.
Yeah, I'd imagine not.
They probably didn't even know each other.
Gibson died before Robinson.
No, Gibson didn't die until the spring of 46, I think it was, and Jackie was signed that winter.
Okay.
But Jackie played 1 year in the league.
Yeah.
And only for about 3 months of that 1 year. But Josh played for the Homestead Grays, and Jackie played for the Kansas City Monarchs. Mm-hmm. They might have never, ever played each other. Mm-hmm. And for somebody to concoct a thing that they were friends and whatnot, just plain untrue. So I saw enough in 10 minutes, and I said, goodbye. Mm-hmm. And we left. There are some good books that are out that are in the 80-85% true, but very few. Wilmer Fields has a little book out by what's it called? My Years in the Negro League. That's a true book. I just finished writing a book myself. I need a publisher.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have
McFarland.
Here in Westchester?
North Carolina. Jefferson, North Carolina.
Really?
They would publish a book. They're really into Negro League history right now. That is such a hot... They're a baseball publisher. Those are who I publish all my books with.
Will you give me an address?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. You know that Pete Gray book that I gave you?
Yes.
Yes. That's them.
Okay.
They do a nice job, too. They're doing this. Yes, you'll definitely get it.
Very, very good.
Wilmer, what's the title of your book?
Let's Play Black Ball.
Wow.
I finished it about 18 months ago. I had to think.
Wilmer Fields' book is
My Years in the Negro League.
You know, they started writing about Negro League history in 1903 with Saul White's book, The Negro Leagues, and then there was 2 or 3 other treatments, and then there was nothing. And now it is really, really hot. But they will publish it, and especially, I mean, you're a player. They will, I can't imagine that they wouldn't take that.
Good. I will get in touch before the week is over.
Yep. Well, I'll give you the person right now. And you can call from my office. Okay. I'm going to run down a list of players, and if you can tell me anything about them, memories, anecdotes, anything, especially playing in Philadelphia, if and when they played in Philadelphia, that'd be great. Start with Josh Gibson, catcher, Pittsburgh Crawfords, and Homestead Grays.
Josh is probably the best right-handed hitter I ever saw. He didn't swing and miss the pitch too many times. If he swung at the ball, he hit it somewhere, and hard. There's a myth about Josh. Everybody thought that they could throw him low curveballs on the outside corner and get him out. They kill you with it. Every time one of our pitchers would throw him a curve, I said, don't make it strike. You have to throw the pitch, but you don't make it hittable. It's just killed you. And everybody thought they could get him out with a curve. I don't care if it was the best curveball that anybody ever did. He was going to kill you throwing up that curveball.
No matter where you place it, it had to be on that low outside.
Well, that's the right place for a curveball, low on the outside. Yeah. You're not supposed to be able to hit it, but boy, he could kill it. Yeah. I'll tell you, I got him out fastballs down the middle. The few times that you did get him out, right down the middle, belt high.
Who was the most successful pitcher to throw against him on the Stars?
We had a fellow named Bill Riggs, Philadelphia Stars. Henry Miller. Henry McHenry. I'm trying to tell you some guys who could really get it up there in the 90s, the high 90s. Wilmer Harris that you were going to talk to this week. An excellent breaking ball pitcher. Excellent curveball. I got more outs with his fastball than I did with his curveball.
No kidding.
Sure. Good hitters look for the best pitch.
That's right. That's right.
Now you're going to interview Bill Cash. And he's going to tell you, I'm sure, that Latin ball players could hit the curveball. And to an extent, he was right. But that doesn't mean that you don't throw them the pitch just because they don't hit it very well. Because I know some Latin ball players that wear it out every day, even now. Doesn't mean that you don't throw the pitch because they, as you say, they can't hit it or they can't hit it. You still throw it. You just pick your spots that you do with it. What pitch couldn't Ted Williams hit? No such thing. Incidentally, I was with him down in Chantilly, Virginia a month ago.
Oh, yeah?
The old man looks good.
Yeah.
Coming back strong. Had a stroke that almost killed him, though, a few years ago.
Yeah.
But what a great guy.
Yeah.
You start talking about hitting, and he's finishing with everything. Let's talk. What a guy.
Josh Gibson supposedly hit the longest home run even longer than Babe Ruth in Yankee Stadium.
Hit it completely out of the ballpark. Touch nothing. Almost straight away center field.
And he tagged any of them in shot park distance.
Upper deck.
Wow.
I've seen Josh fooled on the pitch and hit it 450 feet. You know, in Griffith Stadium, Washington, where the old Washington Stadium, the Senators used to play, the ballpark was 405 foot down the left field line. And then it had, I guess, about a 20-foot high fence. Then the bleachers were up after that. I don't know how many bleacher seats there were. But behind the left field wall and going all the way to center field were trees. And the little kids used to climb up in the trees to watch the ball game for nothing. Well, Josh used to knock them out of those trees.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I think we fooled him on a pitch. Barney Brown was pitching one night. He was a left-handed pitcher. So lefty starts. Real smart guy. Crafty. Yeah. And we fooled him on a pitch one night, and he hit the back of the center field fence. And he was fooled on a pitch. Yeah, just brute power.
Let me ask you, is there any truth, in the 1940s when Ricky was, starting to, think about integrating the Dodgers, that Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige were actually the two that were the ones that were expected to be there, and that Ricky didn't want Gibson because he wasn't as refined as Jackie Robinson, and that what John Holloway writes is that it just broke Josh Gibson's spirit.
Well, I've heard John, and I've talked to him about that. And if it broke his spirit, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I suppose 1944, 1945, I must have played 20, 25 games against Gibson those 2 years. I never saw any despondency in him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he ever talked about it, really.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, it hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
Had to hurt some when you were treated as the best black baseball player probably of the time, and not getting a chance. But, of course, Josh was in his middle 30s, too. So you weren't going to take up a guy who's 32, 35, 36 years old. So was Leonard. Buck just died last year, age 90. But there were so many great baseball players.
Satchel Paige.
Yes.
What did he come back in?
He pitched for the Philadelphia Stars for about a was that? 1949. As hard as he threw, his ball was like a feather. Real light.
Okay.
Now, Henry Miller,
Do you call special days?
yes, every day for a month. Henry Miller, when he threw his ball, it was like a brick. When it hit your glove, you could just jar your whole wrist.
Yeah.
Satchel's ball, throwing it harder than Miller, was just like a feather. It was so soft. Then something else, the greatest thing about him was that if you wanted the ball high and inside, but still in the strike zone, that's where he threw it. And you could just put the glove up there. You didn't have to worry.
Pinpoint accuracy.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't believe in walking people. And he would tell you, well, you better get ready because here comes my number one. And he'd just drove by you. Yeah. Crazy. Never remembered anybody's name.
He said that to the batter.
Yeah, he
Said that to the batter.
Here comes my number one. I guess California. He tells DiMaggio, they tell me that you're a great fastball hitter to left field. He says, well, get ready because that's what you're going to get.
What did DiMaggio say?
They say nothing. Nothing. I think DiMaggio faced him 53, 54 times in the major leagues. And he got 3 hits.
Okay.
Satchel didn't care who you were. Wow. But then I'll tell you one guy who he couldn't get out. Hank Majeski used to play for the Athletics.
Yeah.
Hank used to wear him out.
Okay.
Yeah. But Joe, jeez, he tells Joe, here comes my number one, and I'm going to throw a belt high on the inside, so get ready.
Yes.
That's the way he was.
Let me have some winners to get in there.
A lot of fun. What a lot of fun. You know, we didn't make any money before we were happy.
Yes. I mean,
Running all over the world.
But see, that's the thing. In history, and I shouldn't open that window. Let me stop that one.
Oh, you're talking about the noise?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In history, we have something called presentism, which is imposing essentially 20th century liberal values on people who lived at a different time period. And part of me is just not able to reconcile this. Maybe what you're saying is like Buck O'Neill talking about, we stayed in the greatest hotels and everything else. I don't know what it's like to be a black man in the United States in the 1940s and 50s. I don't know what it's like to be discriminated against because of my race. Now, there are historians that will likely say, well, hey, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, but, everybody accepted that there were Negro Leagues and that black folk are Negro. Well, yeah, but there were other people who didn't accept that, white and black. So what did it feel like to be a black man in the 1940s and know that you couldn't stay in a hotel, even in your own city?
I'll tell you, if one is shallow, it could destroy you. And I have too much backbone from my father and my mother that I simply will choose to be angry, mean, and indifferent. Life is worth much more than that. And I am not going to let somebody destroy my joy. I just won't let someone say, I wouldn't let my wife take away my joy. And I'm crazy about her. And we had 2 children. One we're going to continue to survive because we have some measures of it even today. But my dad always said to me, whatever you do it to the best of your ability. And try to have some fun doing it. And I try to live that way. And I do have fun. No matter what I'm doing, I simply to get some joy out of it. And as I said, nobody's going to take my joy away. No, just let them do it.
Well, you seem to be saying that it's the strength of the family, the values that have been taught, and essentially you have a choice to be happy or miserable.
Yes.
And you choose to be happy.
I choose to be happy. And people who are around me are going to be happy too, or they're going to have to get out. Because I refuse to be the other way. Simply refuse to be that way.
Were your teammates on?
When the Negro Leagues folded in the 1950s, Stanley Glenn was signed by the Boston Braves. After a brief stint in the minors, he returned to Philadelphia, where he was employed in the wholesale electrical supply business. In the 1990s, when the Negro League Baseball Players Association was established, Glenn became one of its most active members and later president of its board of directors. He wrote an autobiography appropriately titled, "Don't Let Anyone Take Your Joy Away," and he shared his passion for the game with youngsters and adults, black and white. Speaking at schools, churches, and community centers throughout the Delaware Valley, he educated audiences about the history of black baseball and emphasized goodwill and mutual understanding in race relations. Often refusing payment, Stanley insisted that he spoke, quote, for the love of the game, and he did it with great humility, integrity, and class. Doc taught me that even though life isn't always fair, you can't allow the setbacks to take your joy away. I will always be grateful for his example. Thanks, Philly fans, for tuning in. See you next week for another podcast of Philadelphia Baseball, past, present, and personal. This is Bill Kashatus, rounding third and heading home on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network.